it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. And we're zooming in and focusing in on us understanding a little bit more in depth on a very common emotionally manipulative comment or tactic by a narcissist or a covert narcissist, and that has to do with public humiliation, public shaming, painting you into a corner, getting you into a position where you're rendered helpless, embarrassed, seething shame, feeling like you cannot back yourself up, or you're just placed into an awkward position where you cannot defend yourself, and hence you are rendered defenseless. This experience of public humiliation or public shaming is meant to be essentially an ultimate emotional manipulation tactic, so you will feel the power of being isolated or subjugated to really kind of a rendered a complete power or control by this individual. In other words, it's immediate justification, it's immediate gratification for a narcissist to do this. They will unequivocally give them a position where they are right. They are the one with the only opinion that matters. In other words, it is a slam dunk for the narcissist. And public humiliation or public shaming can come in the form of an insult, derogatory at you, designed basically to be what is known in ethics as like a rhetorical question or a rhetorical comment. In other words, they're going to make a comment that is very one-directional, where you can't really defend yourself against. There is no comeback, or at least no comeback that makes you look good. It's always designed to make you look bad and show you really what error of character or error of judgment, where they constantly are able to dangle this over you, bring this up at a drop of a feather if need be. It's a way for them to always be able to hold something up against you. In other words, you will never ever have a chance at a comeback, a statement, a self-defense. But constantly having to be put on the defense is part of the problem and part of the uncertainty and part of the self-doubt that is triggered in these relationships. And so, an individual who is fostering a foundation of caring and trust and certainty and really an absence of fear, which is really the basis of a healthy relationship. Sure, you can have give and take, you can, have heated discussions, but it doesn't mean they're going to go ahead and pull out, a jab, a constant, threat where they can always pull this out of their sleeve if need be, to render you helpless. In other words, they're always going to be able to waffle you down or put you into a position where you don't have a comeback, where you're basically, served, as they say, where you're unable to stand up for yourself. And then oftentimes people then react by being quiet. In other words, they might bring up some humiliating situation where it's not funny. They're constantly reopening a hurt wound, or a past mistake, or a past phase in your life, and they're constantly dragging you over the coals, or dangling this over you. They're always able to pull this out against you, and this public humiliation not only gives them a very unfair advantage, because it makes you look inadequate, inferior, like you don't know how to protect yourself, and it just, keeps you basically sulking in that status. So, a healthy relationship, there is no grudge held. There is no, bring these past episodes or errors of judgments or mistakes. Everybody is human. Everybody makes mistakes, but it is the narcissist who tries to appear perfect, flawless, without reproach, which means nobody can come at them with anything. There is no open, discussion with them. There is the, public humiliation. So being without reproach basically means they're going to shut it down. There is no room for discussion. There is no open forum. They are not receptive to towards communication. And the number one rule in communication is the person has to be open. They have to be receptive. They have to be secure enough in themselves to be able to hear a question or hear a comment or hear a request and then respond to it. In other words, where you don't have to feel uncomfortable by saying, please stop bringing that up. Or is that really necessary right now? Can we please drop that? So in a narcissist situation, they're going to constantly bring this up. And then the public humiliation is because now they have the power of numbers. They have the power of a company. They have the power of a meeting. They have a power of family members, other family members who don't need to hear about things, where they're, drumming up these things from the past or, making you feel uncomfortable. And really, it just goes to show that only a person who is really insecure in themselves needs to trigger or launch off into this sort of tirade. Somebody who's comfortable would not need to resort to this emotional manipulation tactic. They would not feel a need to make you feel inferior. They would not have a need to make you look bad. They would not have a need to, get you in a sock in the gut. They would not have a need to give you this jab. They would not have a need to, bring this up. So it's constant power play, and it constantly unlevels the playing field. So there's constantly them, by virtue of them bringing up some sort of negative situation, they're always going to have this to bring up against you. In other words, you can never live it down. They won't ever let you forget it. But yet that is the very situation that a narcissist is requiring, is that they're constantly asking of others to forgive them, and by basically their sense of entitlement. The narcissist who's always living by this sense of entitlement feels entitled to their opinion and feels justified in basically speaking out their opinion as if they are all that matter. So hence this is the pathology. This is the problem. And, it's kind of like, you're always feeling on trial. It's as if you're constantly before the judge. And to constantly be held up to this measuring stick is very uncomfortable, and it's not necessary. But it is a very uncomfortable manipulation tactic by a pathological individual who has a pathological sense of self-importance combined with a lack of empathy, and who has a streak of enjoying seeing others in pain, and then furthermore taking pleasure or self-importance or gratification from that. It is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.